Rings are a common jewelry making element, and they can be interpreted in a variety of ways, from components to accessories. Hi, I'm Katie Hacker, and today's show is packed with ideas for using rings to make exciting contemporary jewelry, and not all of them are for your fingers. So let's start with a mixed metal necklace featuring rings, of course. Let's get started on this mixed metal necklace. If you take a look here, what I've done is combine different colors of rings to create the focal section, and then it's also connected to the back of the necklace using rings facing the other direction. So you might think of rings as sort of decorative elements, but here we're actually using them as beads in the design. So here are some examples of different sizes, and what I've done here is combine the different patterns and colors. So you'll see I'm interweaving the gold, silver, copper, and then silver on the side of the centerpiece, and then another gold. And then this is just the opposite of that pattern. And this is the type of pattern that's going to be used repeating through the center section of the necklace. And that pattern is, of course, in the instructions, which are online. But we'll start out with, I've already strung my beads and some rings onto beading wire. Now I'm using a copper colored beading wire so that it works really well with my necklace. And this is 018. So it's a nice, thick, durable material that's going to withstand these beads and rings. And you can see here that I'm using a stopper on the end, and this is especially important when you're using a design that's worked from the center, like we're doing with this one, because that's going to prevent your beads from sliding off the end. So we're going to pass some beading wire through a crimp bead to get started, and then we'll attach this to a ring here on the side of the focal section. And this is just a basic crimping technique, and you don't need to use a crimp cover because it's going to be hidden down inside the rings. Now I'm going to use my crimping tool, and of course I'm using the 3-step crimping technique. So I'll make an oval shape with the outer jaws, come back with the inner jaws to squeeze and crease, and then use the outer jaws to make that nice and round. And as you can see, once I do the other side, this is going to be completely covered up with my beads and rings. So that makes a nice pattern, and it kind of creates this flow. Now I'm using some faux suede lace, and I'm just going to tie a lark's head knot here. To do that, you fold your suede in half and pass it through the ring, then bring the tails of the suede through and just pull it tight, and that has your knot. Now to attach the clasp, I used a wire wrapping technique. I'm just going to trim my suede so that the ends are even here using my wire cutter, pass it through a ring, and this ring is going to form half of the clasp, which will be connected with this hook. Okay, so I'm just going to bring these tails down and wire wrap this together. And I'm using 22 gauge, and this is copper color wire. And I'll just wrap this all the way around like so, and then once I'm finished, I'll turn to the back of the necklace and trim these ends. And make sure that you press your ends into the suede. It's really nice and forgiving, and you can use your chain nose pliers to press it in so that it doesn't snag. Okay, so when you're ready to clasp, you can open your hook. Just use my pliers to tweak it a little bit, and this will just clasp directly onto this ring. So we're using rings in 3 different ways. And now that you're an expert, take a look at some of these other ideas for using rings. There's a necklace idea here where you're layering rings on top of a crystal. And you can also combine the mixed metallics to create earrings and a bracelet. And again, just interlacing those rings together using jump rings. All these are really simple connections, and I think rings just add a really dramatic look to your jewelry.